We want to praise God. This is the real life class here at Excellus Chapel, and we want to thank God for what He's done with us. Last week we were here on the same program discussing what topic? Lockdown life skills for children. Yes, and that's why we're back. I'm called Richard.
Nisi. Teacher D.
Teacher D.
Yes.
So here, Nisi, Teacher D, and myself, we want to just have a conversation about lockdown life skills for children. We know you parents, you have your children, and the government has extended 60 more days. Those are 2 months. 2 months, so the parents are enjoying the children a little more now.
Hope they're really enjoying.
Listen, you're enjoying time with your parents, so you feel like you should go to school.
I want to go to school, but I'm also enjoying.
Yeah, oh, okay. You're very wise. so I guess parents enjoyable. So we're going to go through these lockdown life skills for children, and we're here last week. Our last teacher did remind us, how far did we go? What we did?
We talked about quite many life skills, and I believe.
But maybe before we bring them there, how was your week? How was your week?
Okay, my week wasn't really bad. It was okay. It was okay, and I think you can see it from me that my week was actually very good.
Okay, and you, Lisa, how was your week?
It was fine.
Wonderful. Anything that stood out in the week?
Not really.
Not really. Nisi has nothing that stood out. Teacher, did anything that stood out for you?
Maybe just finishing up my assignments, like school assignments.
Yeah. For me, what stood out is that we're out of a total lockdown. We're now in a partial lockdown. Taxis can move, people can go into business. And for me, I think that was great. That people have been suffocated. And now it's a blessing. We need to thank God for that, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. So this is Teacher D and Miss. You can give us a recap. How did we go last week? How far did we go about this life skills?
Last week was really good, and we talked about some of the few life skills that parents can teach their children at home.
Yeah.
And we talked about we gave them skills. We talked about. Like teaching the children how to shop, and one of the basics that we talked about was they need to have a shopping list.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was one of the skills that we talked about, and maybe Nisi can still add.
One of the skills we talked about was time management.
Okay.
And in that topic, we are advising the children to make timetables to manage their time. And
one more, yeah?
And confidence.
What did we say about confidence?
In confidence, you have to speak freely and yes.
Wow. And I remember we also said the self-defense. We talked about first aid. That people should, parents should teach the children basic first aid. We also talked about make them do their work, yes. Wash a few clothes here and there. Any more you remember there?
Decision making skills.
What did we say about that?
You give them you create, let me say like 2 things, and then you give them to choose. For example, if maybe you want them to maybe do some work at home, there are different chores the children do. So they can actually either to choose to do this or that. And probably you can actually go ahead and ask them, why have you chosen that one? They can still explain, and that is building the skill of decision making.
Wow, fantastic. And then we also said about, managing time. You mentioned Nisi, managing money and budgeting. Yes, I remember you also told me I need to pay some money. You need to have creditors.
You have to pay the money, or let them pay.
He has it.
But you must send creditors. When you give somebody a loan, you send creditors to look for that person. Okay, surely that we shall pay. It's amazing. But there are some things I want us to now focus on. and help the parents outside there to know some life skills they can teach their children. For example, I had something in mind, the importance of environmental preservation. The importance of environmental preservation. What do you say about Teacher D in this economy of ours?
Okay,
yeah.
Preserving the environment. That
yeah.
things that you need to teach your children. I mean, we are living in an environment and it has to be really preserved. So what are some of those things that you need to teach your children to do, practically to do, to see that the environment is preserved? And I think one of them is to, for example, I believe in different homes people have trees. Yeah, and probably if your home doesn't have a tree, it could be a task. I mean, you tell your child that maybe they need to plant a tree, because at the end of it all, trees, we all know the importance of trees. Yeah. So it's maybe part of
so you're like saying,
the environment.
This was your birthday?
First and September.
So instead of a cake, we buy a tree to plant. What do you think? Environmental preservation, what comes to your mind? How can we preserve the environment as children?
Us as children, we can water the plants.
Yes.
We can pick the dry leaves from the trees of the plants.
Yeah.
We can weed the plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, because let me tell you, one of the things that Uganda is suffering from are plastic bottles everywhere. Buveras everywhere. If we can teach the children that plastic bottles must be dumped in one place, buveras can be dumped in, listen, you know that when a cow eats a cavera, that cow can die. And even these plastic bottles, they take 1,000 years to rot. So you can imagine if we leave those plastic bottles there, for 1,000 years, plastic will be there. So we can't use the ground. We can't, our drainages are getting blocked because of plastic bottles. So I think, Teacher D, one of the things we need to teach the children is how to dispose.
Exactly,
to dispose, not to litter. And I think even at your school they put, do not litter here. But I know, listen, you children, what you do, when you eat chewing gum, you stick it under the table. Have you seen some of my friends do that? Yes, and that's, when we do that, I think we are destroying the environment. But also, you remember, government also said we should stop burning rubbish. That's why they brought these, what do they call them? The rubbish collectors, what do they call them? Garbage collectors from homes, so that they take that rubbish and dispose it off somewhere else. My bishop, my pastor told me that when you eat something in the car, maybe and it's like a cavera or a bottle, many Ugandans, you know what they do? Guess what they do? They just throw it through the window. And my pastor said he parks the car. If you're seated in his car and you do that, he parks the car and tells you, go out. Pick the bottle, bring it back to the car. So he always knows with a cavera, sort of a dustbin, to throw all these things. So I've learned that as well. And Nisi and Teacher D, so
and it's actually a good practice. It's actually because as you teach it to the children, they'll grow up being responsible, knowing that, okay, I'm supposed to preserve the environment, not to litter everywhere. It's really a good practice.
Yes, indeed. So environmental preservation is one of the skills you can teach. What are you thinking of?
Did we talk about like doing domestic chores at home, like washing? I mean, you're teaching the children how to do their, like some work, like washing dishes, washing their clothes. Did we talk about it last
What do you think? Is it good? Is it good?
Yes, it's good because it helps the children, like when they are in boarding, it helps the children when they are going to wash their clothes, they can remember the tips they used as they were washing the clothes at home.
Ah, okay. So that means when we give them house chores to do, they are learning, and this prepares them even for their boarding life.
Yes.
Interesting. So like you going to S1, I know you're now prepared. Do you think you're prepared?
Yes.
To wash everything for yourself?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I want us to talk about finishing tasks independently. One of the things that I can tell you from my human resource perspective, we say it's good to delegate. You know what delegating is? Delegating means if I say, Missy, I'm supposed to do this work, but do it on my behalf. Maybe there's a party, maybe there's a wedding, maybe there's a meeting, and I say, I'm not going there, but Nisi, you go there to present me. That's delegating. That's delegating. So, Teacher D, finishing work independently, what do you think?
Well, they give you, it's like a parent. Oh, sorry. It's like a parent, like you believe in your child. You don't have to be all the time. Okay, when you tell your child to do something, you don't have to be all the time on their case. I mean, do this, I told you to do this. It's important to just leave them for a while, and you let them do what you told them without you being on their case all the time. I think it also helps the child to know, oh, my dad, my mom believes in me. Yes.
Okay, as teacher did, they bring you a new microphone. One of the things, finishing work independently, this is how parents do it. They could give you an assignment and say, Missy, maybe cook this egg. And so they are seated there and watching, and they are seeing how you're going to go through that entire process. What should I even bother? How do you prepare an egg?
When you're preparing an egg, you first put the frying pan on the charcoal stove to heat a bit. Then you put oil and you leave.
You man! Before you even crack the egg. Let's start from the egg.
You crack the egg and then you cut the onions, tomatoes, and all the vegetables you're going to put inside. Then you light the charcoal stove and wait for it to catch the fire. Then you put the saucepan and the frying pan on the charcoal stove and let it to heat a bit. Then you put the oil and leave the oil to get ready. Then you put the eggs and
I can tell you about chocolate stove. Don't you have gas at your home? Okay, but the problem is
Pastor, as long as you eat, as long as you can get something ready, you don't have to be with gas, you don't have to be, so as long as you can have everything. Yes.
Okay, so I like that process. So finishing your task independently means your mother or your guide sits there and they watch you do that. You bang the egg, you mix it with your vegetables, you measure your salt very well, and they don't care whether you put in too much or too little. They are watching you do that because you're going to learn out of the mistake. And even that, they allow you to get burnt a bit because when you get burnt, then you know next time I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. In human resources, I can tell you what we say, that delegating is good, and what we say, you say eyes on but hands off. So you let them do, but you're watching, and then at the end of the day, you correct them. So summarize this thing for us before we move to another one. Finish work independently.
Yeah, it's really good because as the child is given an opportunity to do something, it's not that they're going to do it really perfectly. Well, they're going to make mistakes, but then they need to know that, okay, even making mistakes is not a bad thing. Because when you make a mistake, you definitely learn something from it.
So one of the things this I was thinking about, one of the life skills parents can do is to teach their kids to interact with others. Social interaction. What comes to your mind? Social interaction,
Social interaction, what comes to my mind is being friendly with the person you're talking with, and then you bring out topics that will maybe help that person or maybe have fun with.
Wow. And Teacher D here is an expert in early childhood development. How do you build social interaction in children? These are things we need to know.
Okay, I think it still starts from home with the parents. Like you parents, you have to ask yourself, do I really interact with my children? Because it starts with you. Before you take them out to interact with others.
So that means parents should bank keep you there.
Exactly, bank keep you with your child. I believe, Mommy and Nisi, Pastor and Nisi, you guys bang a lot of KB. So that's how children learn to even interact, because it starts from home, and as they interact with their parents, they're able to, even when they go out, they'll be able to interact with other people. Yeah.
So I was also thinking, Nisi, when we take you for maybe a school party or playing in the park with other kids, you meet friends. What else can we do to build that interaction?
The other thing you can do is you can assign the children to work together so that they build friendship between each other.
Give me five. So you give them an assignment, like teamwork, and they are working together. Fantastic. What do you say about that?
I think it's really nice. Children, they learn to relate with one another.
Yeah.
They learn to know their friends' names. They learn to know how they can play well with others.
Yeah.
They learn to know there are those things they call, I've forgotten, but I can just say an example.
Yeah.
Actually they are called magic words, like thank you, you're welcome, I'm sorry. So that's how they learn those magic words as well as they're interacting with their friends. Yeah.
One of the things we do here is we play football together sometimes, all the kids. The other thing we do is we watch movies together, so that we can, and we talk about the kissing. What do you do when there's somebody kissing on TV?
We close our eyes.
Put the microphone, people should hear these things.
We close our eyes.
You close your eyes.
Yes.
What else do you do?
Oh, we change the channel.
You change the channel. You do that because the parents are there?
No.
I hope, I really hope so. Okay, so what we've done at home, we explained what kissing is, and when the children watch that, we've encouraged them to either close their eyes, like Lisa said, or check the channel for that particular second or two, and then we move on. Okay, the other thing I was thinking about is basic etiquette. Basic etiquette in the home, like using cutlery, fork, spoon, and knife. What do you think, Lizzie? Is that we can teach the children? Should we teach the children that?
Yes, because when someone goes in a restaurant, let's say, and they give you forks and knives and that particular food you've ordered, you have to cut a piece and eat. You have to get the experience from the parents in order to know which hand is for the fork and for the knife.
Okay.
Which hand is for the fork?
Teacher, I wanted to ask you.
Okay, the right hand is for the knife. Yes, am I right?
Right hand.
Yes, it's for the knife.
And then the left is
for the fork.
And the spoon?
Yes, yeah, the spoon.
That's how teachers dodge questions. That's how teachers dodge questions. Okay, but maybe, and you can learn this, but they say I think you pick things from, the way they lay them on the table, you pick from out coming in. Coming outside, because they will lay there, and usually the fork and the knife for the main course are the ones that are closest to the plate. So you realize there'll be a small knife and a big knife, a small fork and a big fork. So the small fork is usually for the dessert, because you use the instrument starting from out, coming closer to the plate. Because then you could have a meal that is five course. You're starting from fruits, you know what you're talking about.
This is when you say 5 course.
That will get to another discussion, I think. But cutlery, that's very important. But the other thing I have problems about is going to the restaurant and making an order, and deciding what to eat and what to buy from the menu. Have you ever had such problems as well?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, sometimes I try to get. Maybe if I move with someone, so I try to ask them to help me. Yeah. And I think it's not really a bad thing to ask. Yeah.
So you can ask the waiter. You think it's important to ask the waiter? Am I being ashamed? What do you think? What do you think, Lisa?
Daddy, I think if you ask the waiter can give you their opinion and you choose between the waiter's opinion and
yeah, I think that's important. So, because there's some people, I have a friend who is a Muganda and they went to a restaurant and ate a buffalo, and yet that was their totem. So they didn't ask, they just asked for meat, beef, and they brought, and they gave it. And after eating, they told them, you've just eaten a buffalo. Okay, so etiquette, we are saying etiquette. Yeah, I know ordering things in the restaurant can be challenging. Do you have one more there?
I think the other thing we need to teach children how to use maps.
Yeah.
Like, I had some people who are coming to visit me at home. And then, I was thinking of getting them a border guide to bring, and then they're like, no, teacher. Yeah. Send me a pin. So somehow they were able to maneuver through using the Google Maps. Yeah. So I think we need to teach children how to use maps. Yeah.
But I must confess here, I have failed. I have to send these pins. How do they send pins? I want to learn. Every time I check my Google, it doesn't speak, it doesn't direct me.
Don't worry, after this, you will have to pay me some Calito money.
Lisa, what is talk about maps? You think it's important?
Yes, I think it's important to use maps because the maps show directions to different places. And the maps help you to know that on this side will be the river, so you have to take this bridge to this particular place.
Yeah, but I'm told that in some countries, you won't bother anyone to say, please stop and show me directions. They'll just say, follow the map. In some countries, people have been to the US, to the UK, no one has your time. You just have to follow the map. But the Baganda say, and Teacher D is a Muganda, they say, Omutu mnaf, buko ya bigere. Yes, in English, how would you translate that?
A wicked tears the legs.
A wicked tears the legs.
A weak mind.
A weak mind. Yes, a weak mind tears the legs. That you could be suffering and you're going to a particular place and people know it, but because you're so shy to ask, you keep walking to and fro, you end up getting tired, and yet you could have been humble to say, Nisi, do you know where Emuna house is? And she don't say, there, it's there. You have to say something.
Yes, it can actually also save you some money. Like, sometimes these border guys, because I always use border guys, they always use that chance of...
May God give you a car.
Amen. They charge you a lot of money simply because, you ask and then probably you don't know exactly. So they charge you a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah, so at some point it's really very important for you to first ask maybe some people around.
Okay.
Or maybe if you know how to use the Google Maps, you can try to use them and they direct you where you go.
Okay. The other thing, as we end this program, I know our time is fast spent, but Nisi thought we can teach the kids on how to basic traveling guidance. When you're traveling, what do you pack and what don't you pack? Can you say anything? Maybe it could be a school trip or something. When we're traveling, we're not meaning UK, US. We just people think traveling is going to US. Going to Mbali is not a travel, it's not a journey. Is there anything coming to your mind?
Yes. When you're traveling, there are some things you have to shop and when you're traveling, let's say you're going for a long distance journey, you have to pack maybe a light snack that you can eat before you reach the place.
Fantastic.
Or you have to carry some money along with you so that so that when you feel hungry, it is easy to go somewhere and buy a snack before you reach your destination.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Teacher D, traveling, how do you prepare for travel?
Well, I think it's also important for you to move with a bottle of water or tea. Yeah, and also I would still agree with Nisi, move with some money because you don't know what will happen. You move with some money.
Yeah.
And also, let me say, okay, maybe you're traveling and you're going to see some people.
Yeah.
You need to maybe carry what Pastor?
You know, when people, and I get challenged when somebody says, I'm going to visit Teacher D, or I'm going to visit this family, and I'm going to be there 3 days. If I'm going to do that visit, what I'll carry my toothbrush, what they call toiletries maybe, my toothbrush, my towel, my toothpaste, and I can even put in a toilet paper, even my transport that will take me and bring me back. I even carry my bed sheets. If I go to that place and they give me bed sheets, well and good. But you know, you can go and visit somebody and become a burden. Imagine visiting and if you visit and they're so broke, they can't even give you transport back. What do you say about that? Maybe I'm too strict.
No, I think it's really right. Actually, it takes me to this point that we need to teach people to see life in the perspective of the others.
Okay.
Like, okay, you try to say, okay, if I go like this, how about the other people that I'm really going to visit? I mean, you don't want to really be a burden to them.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing, I mean, you have to try to look at it in the perspective of the others.
Okay. So even traveling outside countries, you need to know the weather where you're going. Am I traveling light? What am I carrying? What am I packing? It's important depending on where you are going. And for me personally, if I'm to travel, I want to travel light. But there's some people who want to travel with every little detail. Even when they're going to Kenya, they carry 5 suitcases. You know? But so I think for children need to know, if I'm going to visit, if I'm going to for a journey, whether in Uganda or outside Uganda, what basic things can I have? It's okay to carry a piece of salt. Anything that has come to your mind before we close?
If we are traveling outside countries,
yes.
and you know let's say that you're traveling to America and it's winter.
Yeah.
That means you have to get some heavy clothing and heavy blankets, maybe a scarf and these
hoods.
hoods and gloves, so that when
this lady makes neck warmers. You can say neck warmers. Yeah.
Neck warmers and mittens you wear.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Mittens. I thought gloves. Okay. So I think we've discussed a few life skills to make sure at least a parent who has been listening, a parent who has been, or many who will watch this program, something will fall into their mind. I'm going to begin with Nisi. What are your parting shots, your very last words for this program? And then Teacher D will also give her last words, and then we shall wind up.
My parting shot for this program is that...
Is your microphone on?
Okay.
Maybe I give you this one.
My parting shot for this program, you have to train your child in the way that they can grow up knowing what to do and not what to do.
Wonderful. Perfect. Teacher, do your parting shots.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pastor. I would like to encourage the parents. It's never too late, even when you feel like you haven't really taken your children through these life skills. It's never too late. You can still do it now, and you train them. And as you train them, I know these children will never forget what you have taught them. So it's better that you train them now.
Yeah. Wonderful. We want to thank God for these lockdown skills, lockdown life skills for children. Thank you, Nisi, for joining us for this show. She has been our VIP guest. And Teacher D, you're welcome. Next week, next Sunday, we shall be back with another guest and another topic. God bless you. Love from Pastor Richard here at Excellas Chapel, Real Life Issues Talk Show. God bless you. Bye-bye.